Good evening, you're watching the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. We'll start with the headlines. The Anglo-Omani Society in London discusses ways to activate financial and commercial cooperation between the two countries. His Excellency, Minister responsible for Foreign Affairs, stresses from Cairo the importance of political solutions for crisis in the Arab world. And the Arab Women Organization Forum in the Governorate of Dhofar discusses cooperation among youth in voluntary work fields. Those are the headlines, and now for the news in details. His Majesty Sultan Qaboos has sent a cable of condolences to the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, on the death of Her Royal Highness Princess Masha'il bint Abdul Muhsin bin Abdulaziz Al Saud. His Majesty the Sultan also sent a cable of condolences to His Excellency President Pranab Mukherjee of India on the death of former Indian President Dr. Abu Bakr Abdul Kalam. Within the context of enhancing bilateral ties between the Sultanate and the United Kingdom, the Anglo-Omani Society in London organized a conference on ways to activate financial and commercial cooperation between the two countries. The event was attended by high-ranking officials from both countries, topped by His Highness Sayyid Haytham bin Tariq Al Saeed, Prince Andrew, Duke of York, and His Excellency Sheikh Abdulaziz bin Abdullah bin Zahir Al Hinai, Sultanate's accredited ambassador to the UK. His Highness praised in a speech delivered during the ceremony the level of existing cooperation between the Sultanate and Britain in all fields. He urged to give priority to educational scholarships. From his side, Prince Andrew, Duke of York, focused in his speech on the need to benefit from phases of similarities between the Sultanate and the United Kingdom, as both nations have a seafaring and trade legacy. He also pointed out to the promising future of the Sultanate. The Sultanate nowadays endeavors to diversify its economy through the participation of Omani small and medium enterprises. Economic cooperation programs between Muscat and London focus in the upcoming period on strengthening financial and commercial cooperation, especially in free zone projects, and development of infrastructure through involving public and private sectors and attracting foreign investment. His Excellency Yusuf bin Alawi bin Abdullah, Minister responsible for Foreign Affairs, said that countries should have good and positive relations to achieve the common interests and not to be on the expense of the other party. He added that the Sultanate has good relations with all countries of the world, and this is one of the features of Omani relations with all countries. This came in a joint press conference held in Cairo with His Excellency Sameh Shukri, Egyptian Foreign Minister. As for establishing a joint Arab force, the Minister responsible for Foreign Affairs said that the Sultanate hopes that this force is established to meet the needs of the current time. He stressed the importance of finding political solutions to the problems in the Arab world and pinned the fact that violence and power will lead to nothing. He highlighted the coordination with Egypt about the challenges facing the region and stressed the importance of Arab cooperation in complex Arab issues. He also congratulated the Egyptian people for imminent opening of the new Suez Canal and hailed the digging of this canal in such a very short time. On his part, the Egyptian Foreign Minister stressed the deep-rooted relations binding Egypt and the Sultanate, pointing out that the leadership in both countries seek to enhance bilateral relations and cooperation. He hailed the Sultanate's stances towards Egypt in many occasions. He also pointed out that there will be an agreement to increase the exchange of visits between the two sides at different levels. The two ministers also discussed the developments in Yemen and the efforts made to push forward the political solution that will maintain the regional unity of Yemen. The Shura Council office in its meeting reviewed a number of topics related to the restructuring of driving schools. It also discussed the status of Ras Al Jin's facilities and the Scientific Museum, in addition to the Council's response towards evaluation of the performance of Sahar Industrial Port, as well as the visions of the State and Shura Council on the State's General Budget Project for the year 2015. The meeting was chaired by His Excellency Khalid bin Hilal Al-Mawali, Chairman of the Shura Council. In order to upgrade aspects of joint cooperation on raising awareness on various voluntary work fields among young males and females, the works of the second Youth Forum started in Salalah City today. The event is being hosted by the Sultanate, represented by the Public Authority for Handicraft Industries and the Ministry of Social Development, in cooperation with the Arab Women Organization. The inauguration ceremony of the forum was presided over by His Excellency Sayyid Mohammed bin Sultan al-Busaidi, Minister of State and Governor of Dhofar. It discussed in its first day a number of topics, including empowering women in national building programs on the regional level. The participants also were acquainted with a number of pioneering initiatives for women work in various fields. The Saudi child Zainab is recovering after being injured by a stray bullet from a wedding party in the governorate of Musandam. She underwent a surgical operation to remove the bullet. Earlier, the concerned bodies transferred the child via plane from Deba Hospital to Sahar Hospital and then to Nahda Hospital to complete her treatment. And still to come in our news bulletin. The Salala Kharif Festival 2015 continues its activities in the governorate of Dhofar. Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. 2 Bahraini policemen were killed and 6 were wounded in a bomb attack south of the island's kingdom's capital today, according to authorities. The blast was the latest in a series of bombings in recent years, targeting security forces in the Gulf nation, which continues to face low-level unrest more than 4 years after widespread protests demanding greater political rights. The Interior Ministry described the bombing as a terror blast and said it took place in Sitra, just south of the capital Manama. One of the wounded officers sustained serious injuries. Today's blast occurred just days after Bahraini authorities announced they had broken up an attempt to smuggle assault rifles, ammunition and explosives into the kingdom. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan said today that Turkey is asking NATO to be prepared to help his country as it battles Daesh militants in Syria and Kurdish rebels in Iraq. He added that it was impossible to advance a peace process with the Kurds as attacks on Turkey continue. He spoke as NATO convened for a special meeting to discuss threats to Turkey. Erdogan said Turkish and U.S. officials were discussing the creation of a safe zone near Turkey's border with Syria, which would be cleared of Daesh group presence and turned into a secure area for Syrian refugees to return. Speaking in the Ethiopian capital Addis Ababa, U.S. President Barack Obama said today that good governance was one of the best weapons against terrorism and instability. He further said,
good governance is one of the best weapons against terrorism and instability. Our fight against terrorist groups, for example, will never be won if we fail to address legitimate grievances that terrorists may try to exploit, if we don't build trust with all communities, if we don't uphold the rule of law. There's a saying, and I believe it is true, if we sacrifice liberty in the name of security, we risk losing both. This same seriousness of purpose is needed to end conflicts. In the Central African Republic, the spirit of dialogue recently shown by ordinary citizens must be matched by leaders committed to inclusive elections and a peaceful transition. In Mali, the comprehensive peace agreement must be fulfilled. And leaders in Sudan must know their nation will never truly thrive so long as they wage war against their own people. The world will not forget about Darfur. The old ways can be stubborn, but I believe the human heart is stronger. I believe hearts can change. I believe minds can open. That's how change happens. That's how societies move forward. It's not always a straight line. Step by halting step. Sometimes you go forward, you move back a little bit.
Libyan court today sentenced Muammar Gaddafi's most prominent son, Saif al-Islam, and 8 others to death for war crimes, including killings of protesters during the 2011 revolution that ended his father's rule. The former Gaddafi regime officials sentenced to die by firing squad included former intelligence chief Abdullah Senussi and ex-Prime Minister Baghdadi al-Mahmoudi. Sadiq al-Sur, chief investigator at the Tripoli State Prosecutor's Office, told a televised news conference in Tripoli. The nationwide death toll from this month's flash floods in various parts of Pakistan rose to 81 today as floodwater inundated hundreds of villages, leaving tens of thousands of people homeless. The National Disaster Management Authorities said the floods have affected 300,000 people in the 2 weeks since deluge hit the northern city of Chitral and the eastern Punjab province. It warned of more rains this week and asked authorities to take necessary steps to prevent further destruction. The authorities said the flooding inundated hundreds of villages and damaged 1,921 homes. Pakistan's military, meanwhile, said its helicopters had evacuated 30 patients and tourists from the badly flooded northern city of Chitral to the city of Peshawar. The Salalah Kharif Festival 2015 continues its activities in the Governorate of Dhofar with various events around the city of Salalah. Here is a report.
As part of Salalah Festival 2015, a cultural show was presented in Al-Muruj Amphitheatre. The night show was full of celebrations to mark the 23rd of July anniversary of the blessed Renaissance Day of the Sultanate in the presence of His Excellency Minister of State and Governor of Dhofar, Sayyid Mohammed bin Sultan Al Saidi, and the attendance of a number of their excellencies, the ministers, other governmental officials, sheikhs, dignitaries and the general public. The show displayed the strength of Omani culture through songs, poems and traditional dances that highlighted the elements of a wonderful rhythm and melody. The show were participated by well-known Omani stars in poetry and songs. These individual stars have contributed a lot in raising Omani art. The poets narrated the achievement witnessed in the Sultanate and praised the government of His Majesty in the progress that this beautiful country has achieved during His Majesty's wise leadership.
يا دار السلام سيدي قابوس يا عالي المقام أسس عمان الفخر للفخر عنوان بالعدل والإخلاص والعلم والدين لين استوينا وشامخ المجد صنوان شعب له الطولة في شتى الميادين.
During the show, the gathering enjoyed the evening by raising Omani flags and participating in singing those songs simultaneously with the singers time after time, which indeed showed how enjoyable the evening was. These individual stars have presented the best rhythm that displayed old styles and modern ones. This year, the Sultanate Renaissance Day coincides with the Festival 2015. Many visitors from inside the Sultanate coming from various governorate together with their colleagues from the Gulf Cooperation Council states as well as other Arab countries, Asia and other parts of the world who have arrived here specifically for visiting the governorate of Dhofar. For Salalah Tourism 2015, I'm Abdullah bin Ahmed al-Rubi'i, Al-Muruj Amphitheatre, Salalah, Governorate of Dhofar.
A number of villages and wilayas of Ibri and Yanqul in the governorate of Dhahra witnessed heavy to moderate rainfalls accompanied by gusty winds and hail, causing wadis and tributaries to overflow. Heavy to moderate rains also fell this evening on each of the wilayas of Hamra and Bahla in the governorate of Dakhiliya, causing wadis to overflow. In the wilaya of Hamra, mainly the wadis of Ghul and Al-A'la. This is the Sultanate of Oman television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. The Anglo-Omani Society in London discusses ways to activate financial and commercial cooperation between the two countries. His Excellency Minister responsible for Foreign Affairs stresses from Cairo the importance of political solutions for crises in the Arab world. An Arab Women Organization Forum in the Governorate of Dhofar discusses cooperation among youth in voluntary work fields. With that, we come to an end to tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here at the newsroom and the studios, good night.